What's going on, everyone? So we got more reports that have came in, this time from The Athletic, Dan Wokey. So now at this point, you have basically pretty much every prominent, Lakers insider, reporter, all essentially reiterating the same thing to different degrees about Andrew Wiggins and the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, this from Dan Wokey, that the more desirable player in the eyes of the Los Angeles Lakers is Miami Heat forward Andrew Wiggins. But again, at the right price, right? They don't want to have to sell the farm to go get Andrew Wiggins, but if they can get Andrew Wiggins at the right price, he's kind of their ideal scenario based on the reports that have came out in that regard. Dan Wokey, who also downplayed between the Lakers and Wiggins, but said LA is more open to acquiring the player with his skill set, provided the price is right. Because Dan Wokey in the past has said that, he was one of the people when the original reports were coming out about Andrew Wiggins that was like, that's a little overplayed. But I believe it was Jake L. Fisher was the one that said that after the extension, after they were basically able to keep Luka Doncic long term, that kind of opened up like, hey, let's kind of push our chips in. That the Lakers, because remember, the original Andrew Wiggins reports were coming out pre-Luka Doncic long-term extension. So Lakers kind of wanted to get that locked up, get that secured. Now that they have it locked up and secured, now it's like, okay, let's go make those moves. Let's go make those plays for guys like Andrew Wiggins. You've heard Rob Pelinka since then talk about how, he wants and expects to win an NBA championship this year, that is championship buzz, that, with Luka and LeBron James, that they believe that those two can lead this team to a championship. And then Rob Pelinka has to hold up his end by getting the players and pieces necessary. Again, I don't think that this is something that necessarily happens right now. I think that this happens more closer to the trade deadline. You've gotten a lot of reports from Lakers side of things as well as Miami side of things that Miami may look to kind of trim and shed salary as they try to free up cap space in 2026 to really kind of go make pushes at players. Kevin Durant, there was a recent report about Miami is going to kind of keep an eye on Kevin Durant if he doesn't get an extension with the Houston Rockets, that they may look to go and try to go after Kevin Durant and some other pieces. So there are, several scenarios that could end up happening. And ultimately, if Miami is kind of looking to like, hey, let's get off Andrew Wiggins, Lakers have the expirings to then go make that move, go make that trade, and could land Wiggins that could potentially raise the ceiling. I've talked about, I don't know how, I probably should do a video really breaking down kind of my thoughts on it, but I do think that there is the potential that Andrew Wiggins is the difference maker, the piece that puts you over the hump. But that's why I'm okay with the Lakers being patient and kind of, you need to wait and see which kind of guys rise to the top, which guys can you keep, which guys can you trade. Also, can you make the trade for Andrew Wiggins and still keep Rui Hachimura? That could be a huge factor, right? As we kind of progress and get closer and closer to the trade deadline, kind of see where Miami is. Because, what if Miami's really good? Right? They're like, the 4th seed or something like that in the Eastern Conference. And they're like, hey, let's see if we can kind of have like one of those runs that we had, with Jimmy Butler, where we made the NBA Finals and just kind of went on that playoff run. I don't really think that they're going to be, but there is that potential. But if they're like a play-in team or like fringe playoff team where they're like a game or so ahead, I could see them being like, okay, we're not winning anything this year, so let's just kind of shed the salary, go into next season, and then kind of take it from there. Or at least that's the hope. But Miami, I'm sure, would want to be patient. Look, they have the player. They can kind of set the price right now. It's so early. It's kind of like, hey, if you want this guy now, guess what? It's going to cost you. But as you progress into the season, I think that price will start to drop more and more. But Dan Wokey says it's unclear whether that kind of package could net Wiggins, who proved he could be a valuable piece on a championship team in the 2022 with the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers insider wrote, it's also unclear whether the Lakers believe Wiggins would be a significant upgrade over Rui Hachimura, or whether the ideal situation would be to have him on the perimeter in addition to Hachimura. Talks about a couple things, right? Like, what is the gap between Wiggins and Rui? I think the difference is would be pretty astonishing, right? Maybe astonishing is a little, extreme of a word, but I do think that there is a pretty significant difference. And it's not so much just like the surface level play, because Rui Hachimura, to his credit, has been very good for the Los Angeles Lakers and has really evolved and adapted into that catch and shoot 3-point shooting role. In the last 2 seasons, he shot over 40%. He's really embraced that, but he lacks a lot of the things that Andrew Wiggins provides beyond just the shooting. Yes, Andrew Wiggins can give you that catch and shoot 3-point shooting. He can give you that shot creation and the offensive versatility and to the level of Rui, and even a little more. He's a little more crafty, where Rui's kind of a little more bully ball because he's got just that lower center of gravity. He's stronger, he's more physical. Andrew Wiggins gives you the better defense, without a doubt, but he also gives you the athleticism that you don't get from Rui Hachimura, right? Andrew Wiggins' athletic abilities and being able to switch and defend out on the perimeter, right? Defend multiple, but also be able to chase down those loose balls and make those athletic hustle plays that Rui Hachimura is just not capable of doing. Talked about the last few seasons, right? Like, a lot of like the problems with the Lakers, like rebounding issues over the last few years, stuff like that, giving up second chance points and things. Talked about how a lot of that has just been the lack of athleticism out on the perimeter. And you look at the numbers the last few seasons, teams are just shooting more volumes of threes on the Lakers, particularly when they had Anthony Davis, because it was like, do we really want to go into the paint and have Anthony Davis and have to try to go up against that defensive beast? Or do we just want to shoot threes, essentially neutralize Anthony Davis, and then our guys just have to win a foot race against D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura? Right? So they're looking at it as like, we're going to win those 50-50 balls. And you saw them do so, right? I do think Andrew Wiggins is a pretty significant, difference maker for this Lakers team because of the athleticism and still maintaining that level of offensive versatility, but also providing that athleticism and just being able to be better at the hustle plays, the dirty works, and impact the game just at a higher level than what Rui can overall. I also think Andrew Wiggins is the better player than Rui Hachimura, but I do like Rui. The thing is that like, ideally if you could keep Rui, but to what extent, like how much better is it worth it for the Lakers is the question, right? Like, okay, if you have Rui and say, Gabe Vincent and you throw in like a second for Andrew Wiggins, do that all day. If it's like Rui and, because you also got to keep in mind, Lakers would have to do at least a 2-for-1 swap, if not a 3-for-1 swap. So they also have to clear the salary in order to sign that player that you're missing out. So if you get off of Gabe and Rui, you also have to clear enough space in order to sign that guy to fill the 14th roster spot and then have enough money prorated to where you can fill that 15th spot. So these are all things that are going to have to take into account, play a role and whatnot for this Lakers team. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how do the Lakers kind of play that? And does a third team have to get roped in or whatnot? But again, it boils down to what is the price beyond Rui, right? And does Miami demand Rui? If it's something where they just kind of want to clear salary, and if they can get an asset or two in the process, rather than giving up an asset, and you can do something like a Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleba, and a Dalton Connect, and it's like, hey, here's another young guy that you can add to your kind of foundation there, cheap for the next few seasons. Maybe throw in a second or something like that because you're not beyond Dalton Connect, you're not adding real like significant value, but there's inherent value in the salary clearing. We're clearing over $30 million for you next season, right? That's significant, right? So all of those things have to factor in and it has to make sense. So if the Lakers can do something where they can keep Rui and have Rui kind of come off the bench and be a bench guy for them, then perfect, do that. But if you have to give up Rui, then you have to add in and include that as part of the package because Rui is still good for you. Right? It's not like if you're getting off of Gabe Vincent and Max Kleba, it's like how many minutes are they playing? How big of a role are they playing? Like you can survive without them. Like the Andrew Wiggins element would be pretty significant adding in while also keeping Rui to where, like, again, on the other side, to be fair, should be factored in. But if you're giving up Rui Hachimura, again, like not only are we helping you clear salary, we're also giving you a player that is good, that you could keep long-term, that actually could help and benefit and make sense in a starting role or a bench role or whatever for you. And if you want to get off of him, that's your choice, that's your decision. But he's a guy that is impactful and makes sense for us. So we're not just gonna, give up him and all this other stuff for a guy. It also could just be, negotiation tactics, kind of like, hey, like we're fine with Andrew Wiggins, really, or with Rui Hachimura. Really, to me, and this is why I kind of prefer the Lakers be patient. Obviously, if you can get the deal done at the right price, get the deal done at the right price. But if the Lakers can stay patient, go into the season, and hopefully some of these other guys kind of rise to the top, right? Maybe Marcus Smart kind of alleviates some of those issues for you, or Jake LaRavia alleviates some of those issues, or, Jared Vanderbilt, if he can get, his 3-point shooting percentage up and just be somewhat of a serviceable offensive player, that could be enough to kind of, give you what you're looking for, to where now you can go into those conversations for an Andrew Wiggins and go, hey, we don't need him. We still want him. We'd love to have him, but it's not something that we're desperate or, it's like the biggest glaring hole for this Lakers team. It's like, no, Jared Vanderbilt's filling in that role nicely. We're fine and comfortable with him being the starter, but we'd like Andrew Wiggins for his experience, right? He has the experience. He's a guy that has been key in the championship setting, like was good enough to argue being a finals MVP and stuff like that, but it's not something that we're desperate to do, right? We're fine just kind of keeping things as is, maybe going and finding a minor piece and kind of trimming and upgrading around the edges. But if we can make this move, we can find kind of the happy medium, right? Then we're fine. Right? Ideally, you want Miami to be, it's another reason why if you're the Lakers, kind of trust that Miami's not going to be very good this year, which I don't think they will be. And if Miami's not very good this year, then now as the Lakers, that puts you in a better driver's seat, because they're probably going to be more incentivized and they're going to be more willing and open to kind of trading him in order to get off of his salary. Where if they're really good, they could kind of look at it and go, well, he could be a piece, or we could sign and trade him, right? Like if, Kevin Durant, like, hey, we're a good team, we're cooking, we're killing it, right? That could be incentive for Kevin Durant to want to choose us. And then maybe we keep Andrew Wiggins to do a sign and trade and go get a Kevin Durant or something like that in the offseason, right? So you kind of want Miami to be, at least lackluster, maybe not like god awful, right? But at least lackluster. Because if they're kind of towards the bottom, or, play-in team or the bottom in that range, it's really good for Lakers, because that will just kind of give Miami more incentive to, hey, let's clear the deck a little bit. Let's kind of retool in the offseason and get off of a guy and that's going to have a $30 million salary in Andrew Wiggins. Where if you're the Lakers, there's not really moves next season in order to really do that, right? There's not these free agents. Like the only guy that really made sense for the Lakers was Jaren Jackson Jr., and he signed an extension. Outside of that, it's like James Harden, LeBron James, who you already have, Trae Young, who doesn't make any sense, right? So it makes more sense for the Lakers to go bring in a guy like Andrew Wiggins, even on $30 million, pay all the guys that were really good for you this year. If you win the championship, kind of keep the main core, maybe upgrade in free agency around the edges, maybe go make a minor trade or something when you have more assets next offseason, and then kind of go that direction, rather than, whether you win a championship or not, at least you kind of have your foundation going to next season. And then LeBron probably departs. Andrew Wiggins' money falls off. You can always give him a new deal if he's working well or whatever, right? And now you can kind of retool and revamp. And then if Jokic or Giannis or somebody like that is available, you still have the flexibility to go sign those guys, or you can work out trades or do whatever. Especially if you have Andrew Wiggins on a $30 million expiring, that could also give you potential to make other trades and other moves and things like that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass question you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.